I am so excited for today's live topic. Let me know that you're joining us live by dropping a hashtag live in the comments, and also let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. So let us know where you're located and let us know that you can see me and hear me by dropping a hashtag live. And if you're watching replay, hashtag replay. Today, we are talking on the topic of financial empowerment, and we have a very special guest with us today, Lauren. Lauren, can you just give us a little brief on who you are and how you serve?
For sure. Thanks, Emily, for hosting this and inviting me. I'm so happy to be here. So my name is Lauren Irwin. I'm a certified financial planner and investment advisor. I've been in the wealth industry for close to 10 years. And kind of my driving force is something that kind of happened over the years when I noticed that managing wealth was intimidating for many, even my most successful clients. And I wanted to help change that. And to this day, like my biggest enjoyment that I get out of my job is just helping people get confident about their money and simplifying this very, very complex world of finance that we find ourselves in, and particularly women. So I want to help them grow financially and also just in their financial confidence. And that's truly my passion. And I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I love.
Yes, and you're in such an amazing space. And like you said, you have like a heart for service specifically for women, and you're moving in a direction right towards small business owners and empowering women in that space. So being in this online space, previously being a coach, and now being an agency owner, we hear a lot of these like financial
Yeah.
terms and like titles online. And for somebody who's not in that world, I think it can be quite overwhelming or confusing because they're kind of used interchangeably. So what's the difference between like a financial coach or advisor or wealth advisor? Can you just give us like a little breakdown on the differences between those titles?
Yeah. So this is a very common question. And, before I was in this industry, I was confused. I'm like, what do you do versus what you do? And they're like, oh, we actually do the same thing, but with little nuances. And I'm like, from a career perspective, I was like, well, I don't really know which way to go. I don't know what to aspire to, I guess. So I truly had to go to my team who's in marketing and on the compliance side. And I'm like, what are the differences? Because I know in my mind, but I want to make sure I'm saying the right things. I can't only just speak for the firm that I work at. But I gave a little bit of a breakdown. So the term financial advisor can be used as sort of an umbrella statement. So I'm literally reading off of my notes because I have to make sure I get all these nuances correctly. So typically, they're the people at your bank branch. So if you walk into a branch, you see someone sitting at a desk, you make an appointment with them, they could be called a financial advisor. They typically offer banking products like a bank account, lending products, and they do have access to some investment products. Before investments, they're typically limited in what they can offer to products at the bank that they work at. So like a mutual fund or an exchange traded fund and government investment certificates. So versus someone like myself who's on the wealth management side, there is no restrictions to what we can invest on, and we use more of the stock market to customize our clients' portfolios. There's additional course requirements for some of the other titles. So my two titles, investment advisor and financial planner, there's additional things to get us licensed in our industry. So investment advisors specialize in investment planning, portfolio management. A financial planner specializes in comprehensive financial planning. So that includes the investment piece, the retirement planning, also tax planning and estate planning. And a CFP designation, which is what I have, stands for Certified Financial Planner. And it's not required for this title. It's the highest designation you can receive in Canada for financial planning, and it's often what people strive for when they're passionate about this space. So that's why I got it. And then one of the other titles that is commonly found, especially among entrepreneurs, because coaching and business coaching is a great resource to have. There's the title wealth coach or financial coach or something to that regard. And I'll say I'm not an expert in the course requirements for that. I just know that they're not regulated in our industry. So, you wouldn't find a wealth coach working at a wealth management firm. So, so from what I've learned from people who are coaches is there are optional courses you can take to kind of expand your offering and be a subject matter expert. These people typically help with your mindset, day-to-day strategies for savings. However, they can't execute on the recommendations that they have. So if they recommend a wealth plan, a financial plan, an investment strategy, they would then introduce you to someone to actually carry out that strategy. And sometimes it's a one-time thing. Sometimes it's an ongoing relationship with them where, maybe like a therapist or something, you might meet with them on a weekly, monthly basis. But they would work with people like me to do their investments and their financial planning.
Okay, that is like a great overview, and it's like just enough to like be able to see the insight that we need to differentiate maybe what we are looking for, because sometimes we think we know what we are looking for and then it turns out to be something else. So if I'm hearing this correctly, when it comes to like the coaching side of things, it's more like enabling you to do it yourself or get help with it, whereas going your route is like actually helping like execution, so done with you or done for you.
Yeah, so like I feel like there definitely is overlap between what I would do as an investment advisor and a financial planner and what a wealth coach would do, because the industry that I'm in is moving in that direction a little bit more. And so some of the younger people like myself have adopted that mentality. And, we do get involved in the behavioral pieces. But I would compare like a wealth coach to almost like a therapist for your financial, your like how you feel about your finances specifically. They aren't licensed as therapists, making that very clear, because I know that's something that they have to stay away from saying. But as a third party, I really think that they help with mindset. So I might refer someone to a wealth coach if there's some emotional barriers, or if there's some sort of limiting belief that I'm not equipped to handle. But definitely the behavioral aspect, I pride myself in making that a part of my practice because it is so important. And financial literacy is so important in making those good decisions. You need the tools, but you also need the right mindset around it and the right behaviors along the way to get there.
Right. I love how you incorporate that behavior piece as well, because when we think about maybe our past experiences, maybe that hasn't been thought about as much. I would say maybe in a more traditional sense of it's very much like to the books and not really bringing in, I guess, emotion or mindset towards the finances. So I really love that piece. And probably a lot of people's wheels are turning depending on what stage of business they're at as they're watching this. They're like, is it too soon for them, right? Because some people think, oh, that's for me in the future. Or they might think, I'm not far along, like far off. How do I say that?
Yeah. No, I
far
get
along
it.
in my journey. So when is the right time, or is there a right time to seek guidance from an investment advisor such as yourself?
Yeah, I think that's such an important question to ask, because there's a few people that I've started working with actually from the networking group that Emily and I met on, and they have these beliefs that I don't have enough money to work with a financial planner. I need to be a millionaire, all of these beliefs that are just simply not true. And I'm glad I get to be in a position where I can, show them that there's another path to get there. And I think a lot of the value that I could potentially add is helping you get to that goal savings amount or personal like emotion towards your finances and getting confident with that. So I would say, and this is going to probably sound a little bit corny, but there really is never a bad time to reach out to someone. If they aren't the right person to talk to, a truly caring advisor or a coach or anyone that you talk to in the financial space is going to be open to having an initial conversation. And if they can't help you initially, they're going to know the people who can. So if someone came to me, for example, they weren't a fit as a client, maybe there's some limiting beliefs that we need to work on, or maybe they're just starting out, and they don't have an amount of cash built up that they would assume is what's needed to be a client. I would maybe refer them to a wealth coach to get them out of these limiting beliefs. And so I would really say there isn't a bad time. If they're not able to take you on as a client, they'll know the people who can, and they'll make that introduction for you. And there's just a tremendous value in just starting your wealth journey at whatever place you are. We can't change the past, but we can take steps and become an active player in our financial future. Not only do you set good habits around your money, but your money will start earning and compounding over the years. So there's immense value just in starting early in life. So anyone who's on this call that's maybe just graduated or just entering their first job and they're making more money now and they're like, well, what do I do with it? Do I go on a trip? Do I save? Do I do a little bit of both? I don't know. But have that conversation early on. Time really is your best friend when it comes to long-term savings and watching that money grow on top of itself.
Right. And that kind of feeds into the next point, which is like, if you're feeling overwhelmed or you're like, I don't know what to do, what is like that first actionable step somebody can take if they're in a state of overwhelm? Is there like a practice? Is there a certain outreach they should do? Like, what's the first thing they should do if they're wanting to improve both their mindset and the logistical side of their financial situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a loaded question. It would really depend on what the barrier they're facing is and what direction to go from there. But there are lots of great resources out there about financial literacy and just having kind of a roadmap to say these are some important checkpoints to get to or some things to think about. I myself have one on my website, so maybe when you share that, people will be able to see the financial literacy program and all the different modules you can go through, and you can start whatever you're struggling with, whether it's budgeting or saving, or things more advanced than that as well. You can find it there and you can start at any place. In terms of the mindset around it, that's a more difficult question, right? Like that's person specific, and there's so many different ways to go about that. Like if you have access to a therapist, I know that that's a good option. If you have benefits through work, or if you want to invest the money yourself, they can help with limiting beliefs and not just ones around finance. So I'm a big advocate of mental health services and using those services if you're having struggles from a mindset perspective, and coaching as well. So coaches usually have an area of focus. And even just talking to people, I think, like opening up the conversation, allowing yourself to be vulnerable to some people that you trust and saying, hey, I'm really struggling with this. What did you do? Have you ever felt this way? How did you get out of that situation? yeah, so like lean on your friends and family, or a professional if you trust them to help you work through that. But it's not an easy thing to do. Limiting beliefs are a limiting belief for a reason, and sometimes identifying them is the hardest part. So just self-awareness is really helpful in that respect too. I feel like I went on a tangent there about therapy because that's where my mind immediately went, but also a great thing to advocate for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, it's going to be different for everybody's circumstance, where their mindset is at and where their finances is at. But I love what you said there. So seek or utilize the resources that are already accessible to you right now. There's so much out there. So utilize those resources. Um, Lean on people that you trust, or seek help. Don't be afraid to ask for help where you
Yeah.
need it. And then also, like, figure out who might be that right next fit for you, and maybe it'll take a few connecting with a few different financial professionals to find that right fit for you. And so be easy on yourself because
Yes.
it is a big decision, to open up yourself in this way. And sometimes we think just like relationships are what's like private or intimate, but I think finances are actually a very intimate industry to open up to somebody else, because we often have feelings towards these things and what's going on in our life, or maybe our financial circumstance being intertwined with somebody else's and things such as that. So this has been such a great chat, but we're coming up on our time. So before we head off, how can people connect with you that want to hear more, that want to maybe chat with you? What's the best way to connect?
So I would say I would direct people to my website. It's the easiest thing to find online. It's www.laurenirwin.ca, not .com, .ca. And on there, there's ways to contact me. There's the financial literacy program. There's resources beyond just financial literacy, and it talks more about what I do in more detail, and the company that I do it with. So while I work for myself, I am tied to RBC Wealth Management, and they provide some of that business side that I don't want to deal with, like the regulation, the legal, all of that fun stuff. And I have access to some great experts there too. So yeah, I would say direct to the website. You'll find my email there, my phone number, how to book a call if you want to have a further chat. I would like to also say that I'm open to that. It may seem intimidating to talk to someone in the wealth management side. I know that a lot of people associate that with the super wealthy. That's not how I approach it. So I'm open to even just having a call to point someone in the right direction, or if they're wondering about their own circumstances, helping them talk through that and see if there's a fit with me or one of the other people that I work with.
Right. Amazing. Well, you guys should be so grateful for this opportunity to have Lauren on here with you, and also her generosity to open up some of her time to connect with you guys. Definitely utilize Lauren as a resource and lean on her and her wealth of knowledge, pun intended.
Good one.
to empower yourself in your finances, as a business owner, or as an aspiring business owner, or somebody that is pursuing maybe a new career or a career transition. There's never a wrong time to get support. So thank you so much, Lauren. I've dropped some of your links in the chat, including your LinkedIn, but I'll also drop your website as soon as we end this live, so they can connect with you there. I think that's it. It's Friday. Time to celebrate the
Well, thank you
weekend.
so much for hosting. I really appreciate being on your platform and talking to I think it's mostly female entrepreneurs that you work with. So I love other people working to support women entrepreneurs. So thank you for having this platform.
Of course, it's been my pleasure, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a good week.